All right, so here at the Gillespie House, we're doing 8 replacement windows, and we're taking out new construction windows that have the J channel built into the frame of the window. So if you can see here, the siding runs behind here, and that does 2 things. One, it finishes off the siding so you don't see the rough cut of the siding, but it also produces a seal for the window itself. So when we take this window out, we have to put J channel back in to seal the opening and also cover back over the cut edge of the siding. We'll get into that in a later video of how that looks, and we also have some work to do once this window's up before we set the new window as far as shimming it and keeping it true in the opening. So here Tony is actually working on removing the windows, and what he's doing is he's cutting off that J and he's cutting the siding back a little bit, because when we re-J it, we need the opening to be big enough to accept the new window. So over on this window, he has already done that, and you can see the siding is cut back. Eric is working on getting the window out, and then once we're done, over on the ground there is a pile of new J channel that we're going to put up around these windows, so that again the siding is finished and it's also sealed to the opening for the new window. Tony's going to start cutting here so you can see what he's doing.
Just taking the multi and cutting off the accessory groove and cutting straight back. You can use something like a Sawzall, but the Sawzalls tend to chunk up the siding, so we use multis.
So what Eric's doing now, you can see the old windows out, but you have a setback from the plaster opening to where the framing is. We need to make that flush so that when we sit the window, the entire window is sitting on something solid, and where we shim is also, the shims are solid. You don't want the shims to be in at an angle, go back into this cavity here. You want it to be a flat area for that shim to rest on so the window sits in there. So he's putting some blocking in, and then when we put the window in and shim it, the voids in here will all be filled with foam to seal up the opening. And then, so he's getting that ready, and then the next step will be the J channel before the window is set.
What you're going to start off doing is, once your opening's all cut out, you're going to want to measure your tops, your sides, and your bottom. And you're going to want to find whatever the smallest size is. So here we went with 35 and 3/8. From that, however you do it, I do a 4-3-2 method, or you can add an inch. Either or, you're going to want to take your measurement and add the extra bit so you can have a tab down on the tops. And then your sides, you'll do the same. You'll add an inch, and you'll add 2 inches to the bottom so you can tuck the top up in. Now what I did is I checked for the nail distance in the back. If you kind of look behind here, you can find where the nails are. If they're real close, sometimes you have to cut them. If they're not, you can cut the back of the flange off like I did, just so you're not running into the nails. You really don't want to cut the nails, simply because once you cut them, then the J channel or the siding is just going to flap in the wind. So once you get your top in, you're going to take this piece and connect them. Now this extra flap will lock into the back so that it actually tucks in, and the J channel is locked together and will not move. Take the bottom, tuck it in there behind the J, and just slowly work it in. So once you have both your legs on, make sure they're straight. You have your last piece. So the way I do it again with the tabs, you're going to push this piece down, interlock it, shove that up in there so it locks in, and this piece here will slide down. So once you have it locked in there in this piece here, you're just going to take it, tuck it down under the 45, lock it in back behind there, and then you have your J channel opening.
All right, so Eric's setting the window now. We got all the prep done. Tony showed you how the J and everything went in. So Eric's just getting the window in. And we're gonna set the reveals to a certain depth. And then where he put you can still see them in there where he put the blocks in earlier. That's where he's going to shim it and screw it into place. He's going to get a couple screws set in now just to hold it into place so that he can work on it and adjust it as needed. And then he'll start working it from there to get it so that it's plumb in the opening, that the sashes operate properly and have even reveals. It locks smooth and easy, and there's no light gaps or air gaps anywhere in the opening. Okay, now it's not going to go anywhere, so he can do the work he needs to do as far as getting it where it needs to be and operating properly. And then once that's all done, like I said, we'll come back in, and either from the inside or the outside, we'll put spray foam in here to seal that up. Then they'll do a trim piece on the inside and caulk it, and then they'll do some metal coverage from the window over to the J channel on the outside here and caulk and seal all that. So right now, he got the window set and got a couple screws in it to hold it. Now he's going back and shimming it at the points where he put those blocks in to make sure that the window doesn't move over time, because it is going to expand and contract with the weather. That's just the way it is, especially here in western Pennsylvania. Today it's close to 100. You know, in a couple weeks it might be back down into the 50s. Things are going to move, they're going to expand and contract, so we got to make sure we have it shimmed in place. And we try to shim it in at least 3 places on each side. If they're a little bit taller, we'll do 4 spots, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, and then in the middles, because we want to make sure that middle doesn't bow out or roll in and out, because if that happens, you're going to get light and air coming in over time. So he's just making sure everything is shimmed and solid when he puts the screws in, and things aren't going to move down the road.
Let's see how that looks.
Right now to prep to do all the trim work on the outside. This is a leg. I have my measurements here. Pretty much because it's a Provia window, they have accessory grooves we use, so you put a hem or a fold, whatever you want to call it. That'll go into the accessory groove. After that, you just measure. We're going to the J channel. We're going to stay inside the J channel, so fix your measurements to that. And you pretty much cut them, and then we'll stick them here and fold them inside the brake. So pretty much you make little cut marks, and then you're just going to run your utility knife along the brake. Find my next cut lines. Brake. Now I have 2 legs cut. Fold my legs. So first I'll find my hem or fold, which is marked by an F on my metal here. This one goes the whole way up. Out. Put the fold down into the rubber, so you can put a whole hem on it. Right. The next mark is what will return into the J channel. So the hem here will go into the window. And this piece here will butt up against the J, and we'll caulk alongside to this, and a caulk alongside this for the window.
Okay, so here we have 2 windows set. This one is unfinished on the inside, and this one is finished. You see here the gap around that allows for adjusting the window when we set it, and also adequate foam insulation. Over here, this one's finished with, we use vinyl stripping to the window and to the drywall returns, and then we caulk it all around. And again, Tony's outside doing spray foam, so just gonna hop out there and look at that.
So I'm just foam insulating between the window and the walls. And this will keep the house cool or warm, whatever you need it to be.
Go ahead.
So once they're foamed up, you're going to cap the windows, what we call it. So that's where you're going to put the metal. And like I said, this is a Provia window before, so you're going to use this accessory groove. Now, if it was our windows, we tend to tape everything to our windows, kind of like I'll do in the head cap at the top, because ours, there is no accessory groove in the top. So once you have your metal, make it a little bit longer, so unmark it. Just cut your metal to size. Now to hold it in the accessory groove, you're just going to take the hem and put these little snips. So when you pop it in the accessory groove, that little bit of pressure will keep it back in the holes. Now it will stay up because the pressure, once we put the legs on, the legs will pin it down. So the header is the last piece, and kind of like before, you're going to hold it up here and you mark where the legs sit so that you notch out the inside cuts. The only thing different is because we use the head cap on these, there is no accessory groove to use up here. So we have to use double-sided tape. So once you have it cut and put it up there, you have your double-sided tape. And that's what holds your window in place, or your metal in place. And then from there, like I said before, we're just going to go ahead around and caulk everything along the window, along the J channel. That'll make sure it's all sealed up. Won't have to worry about any water coming in. And basically, once I'm done with that, that's just how you do an integrated J channel window. Of course, another window, different process.